What's up, party people? This is Maine's World, and it is party time. The newest and realest sports podcast on the planet, giving the truth to you straight. Why? Because you can't control me. I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm your host. I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, party people? Welcome back to Maine's World. Happy holidays to everyone. We got a few questions in via mainsworldpodcast.com website. So I decided to answer those questions before the holidays, and then we'll get right back at it after the holidays. Appreciate all your love and support, and keep those questions coming. Okay, our first question comes in from Big Rich in Chicago. What do you think the Bears should do at QB going forward, assuming that the Mitchell Trubisky era is over at season's end? All right, Big Rich, that's a great question. It is hard to see a scenario where number 10 is back in Chicago next season. He will definitely have some options, in my opinion, if he continues to play well these next two games. And also, I think that one of those options might still be Chicago. I'm not sure how the fan base will react to that. I'm not sure what kind of deal he could even garner with the Bears, but I assume that he's going to have some traction with some other organizations. So it might be probably hard for the Bears to sign him at the discounted price that the Bears would like to. But options at QB, that's a great question. So I believe you have to keep Nick Foles. Maybe they can restructure that contract. I believe you have to keep Nick Foles no matter who the coaching staff is going to be. In my opinion, I really don't see the Bears organization pulling the trigger on getting rid of Matt Nagy, even though that's what I believe should happen. And Ryan Pace as well. Ted Phillips as well. But, so let's assume the Bears are going to have a mid to late round pick. Probably middle round draft pick. So Trevor Lawrence is out. I'm assuming that Justin Fields is out. I think he will probably go number 2 to Jacksonville if that 1-2 Jacksonville Jets stays the same. But in my opinion, I actually think that if the Bears have a chance, the Bears will draft Kyle Trask out of Florida. We just have, I won't even use the word unhealthy obsession, but we have an obsession with Florida quarterbacks. Danny Wolford. Rex was our quarterback for quite some time. The Bears even had Chris Leak on the team at some point. He never played a snap in the regular season, but he was on the roster for the preseason 1 year. I think that was the only team that he was actually ever signed to in the NFL before his career derailed. But Kyle Trask, 6'5", 240 pounds, completes almost 70% of his passes his career at Florida. 69 touchdowns and 12 interceptions so far. So 2 years starting. He did play his freshman year, but 2 solid years starting at a premier school, SEC. He's played some good football. So that's not like it's not like a bad thing, in my opinion, to draft Kyle Trask if you have that option at that pick with a 15, 16, 18 pick. But there are reports that Trey Lance, that North Dakota State can go in the top 10. I'm not sure that the Bears will pull the trigger on another 1 year starter. He's a 1 year starter. I just don't think if Ryan Pace is there, he can't do that. But if there's another GM and head coach, I don't think they would follow in those footsteps either. But Justin Fields, like I said, 6'3", 230-pound quarterback out of Ohio State. I think he's also 2 solid year starter. Similar numbers to Kyle Trask, but I just don't think he'll be available. And I don't think the Bears have any capital to try to move up and get a quarterback. So Other options could be, think Phillip Rivers is going to be a free agent. I don't like Phillip Rivers personally as a quarterback. Yes, he's had success in the NFL, but he's had a lot of good teams and has not done anything with them, in my opinion. So I wouldn't like to see that QB on the roster. You might as well just keep Nick Foles. But one quarterback that comes to mind, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, the NFL kind of like got to give him a chance. I mean, he has been a starter in this league, but the way his time in with the Chargers went down, I don't think that he should go. That the NFL should let him just go out like that. An injury derail your career, but you can't not start Justin Herbert. I mean, he's been playing well. I don't think the record would have changed if Tyrod Taylor would have been playing instead of Justin Herbert. That team has a ways to go. But Tyrod Taylor could be a solid option at quarterback. But the Bears are going to have to draft a quarterback. And if you have a chance to draft Kyle Trask, I think that might be a solid draft pick. All right, our next question comes in from Ben in Dallas. Were you impressed by Canelo Alvarez's victory over Callum Smith? Ben, yes, I was very impressed with Canelo's victory. I had the fight scored 10 rounds to 2. The ninth round, and particularly, if I remember correctly, the ninth round was as close to a 10-8 round that I have ever seen without a knockdown, I believe. There was a very, very noticeable size advantage for Callum Smith, and he was not able to take advantage of that size advantage at all. He's 6 inches taller than a Canelo, 6'3" to 5'9", and he had a 9-inch reach advantage over Canelo. That's 79-inch reach advantage to 70. I mean, it was crazy how much larger that fighter was, and it was uncanny how Canelo was able to negate that size without any. It was like no question. He was really able to hurt Smith in the later rounds. He commanded the center of the ring when he wanted. He put Smith on the ropes when he wanted to. Did not let Smith establish his jab at all. So I was very impressed with the victory. And as we all know, Canelo's only 30 years old, so we have to contend with that fighter for quite some time. He was already high on a lot of people's list as the pound-for-pound king, and he did nothing but add stock to that argument. So I'm anxious to see his next fight. Next fights could be David Benavidez or Caleb Plant. I think those two fighters may fight each other before they see Canelo, but all Canelo's fights have to be championship caliber fights due to his stardom and his. He's a superstar in boxing, and he is, tops of the list and pound for pound king. So I'm looking forward to see his next fight at 168. All right, our next question comes in from Rodney in Tacoma, Washington. Are you happy to get back to basketball, and what did you think about the games on NBA opening night? Well, Rodney, yes, I am glad to get back to basketball. But we got to remember, we just stopped playing basketball 2 months ago. So I'm ready for it. It's good to see. I love basketball. Love NBA basketball. Love college basketball. I love it all. So it's good to get back to playing basketball. But to get to your question about the games on opening night, yeah, I was pleased with the games on opening night. The Brooklyn Nets over the Golden State Warriors didn't turn out to be a particularly good game, but it was good to see Kevin Durant back, and it was good to see Kyrie Irving doing what Kyrie Irving does best, and that is play basketball, be the number 2 player on a championship caliber team. That's what he does best. Not talking about the earth being flat or talking to chess pieces. So it was good to see Kyrie playing ball. The Brooklyn Nets look very good thus far. But the takeaway of that game is the Golden State Warriors did not look so good. I think they're really going to have a tough time without Draymond Green. They already miss Klay Thompson. They already missed Klay Thompson. But not having Draymond playing made that game like not interesting. So I look forward to Golden State being a little better with Draymond Green playing well. But the second game, Lakers Clippers, I expected the Lakers to be slow starters this season due to the wear and tear they put on themselves last finals. But they played well. Wasn't like it was a blowout. We got to see Paul George doing Paul George things, or things that Paul George talks about being. Paul George played very well. The Clippers in general played very well. They had 6 players in double figures. The Lakers did not play particularly bad, and that's the scary thing. LeBron and AD probably had about 20 points apiece, but more importantly, Kyle Kuzma had about 15 points. Montrezl Harrell had almost 20, and Dennis Schroeder had about 20 points. So when that team gets to rolling, I mean, look out, league. It's the Lakers are a formidable defending champ. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this year. But yeah, I'm happy to be back to basketball, man. I'm going to make a bold statement, though, right now. The Chicago Bulls will be 500 this year. The rookie they got is pretty decent. I think our weakness right now is defense. And I think that will get better over the course of the year. And the Bulls will be 500. That's a bold statement. Because a lot of people project the Bulls to be a lottery team again. But I'm happy to get back to basketball, Rodney. I hope you are too. All right, our last question comes in from DJ in Chicago. What do you think about the college football playoff? All right, DJ. I would say I'm disappointed, but I'm not disappointed because I'm not surprised of the 4 teams chosen. Alabama versus Notre Dame and Clemson versus Ohio State. Then we all presume to see Alabama versus Clemson 4. Those are the teams we see in the college football playoff. I don't really know why the committee just had to have Notre Dame in there, because I don't think, maybe that's what they think the best matchup for Alabama is, eye test wise or whatever. But I would have liked to see Alabama play Coastal Carolina or the Cincinnati Bearcats. This was the year that those teams, that the committee could have put those teams in, those teams that were undefeated. I mean, Ohio State making it is like crazy. They bent the rules for them to play in the Big Ten championship game. So that's fine, whatever. But it sucks to be the teams that play well for no reason. They play well just to get in the bowl game. But to be bowl game eligible, you just have to have 6 wins. So I'm not sure how the NCAA college football programs can continue to saturate the college football playoff with just, I think it's probably only 8 teams that have been in the college football playoff altogether in the 7 years they've had it. Maybe 10 different teams. I know Alabama and Clemson are going to play in the 4th time for the championship game. So they haven't fixed the problem with the bowl championship series to the college football playoff. Teams still get left out. Programs that do well don't get rewarded like they should. And we see the usual suspects. 1 loss, 2 losses. It doesn't matter. We're going to see Alabama. We're going to see Clemson. LSU. You would have seen LSU if LSU would have won 5 games, in my opinion. But are we going to watch the games? Yes, we're going to watch the games. We'll watch Alabama beat up on Notre Dame. And then, Clemson beat up on Ohio State. And then we'll see what Alabama Clemson 4 will behold. But all right, party people, that's our show for today. Again, happy holidays. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your families, and we'll be back at you next week. All right, party people, that's our show for today. Appreciate you being here. Hit us up at mainsworldpodcast.com to drop your questions. We're also available on YouTube. Please hit like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm out. Why? Because you can't control me.